Welcome to the Whitman Recreation Commission meeting on June 12th, 2025. Kathleen Woodward, Kathleen Evans, Ryan Tully, Dan Salvucci, all here. Thank you all for coming.
Of course.
Our agenda tonight is basically very simple. We just need to approve the minutes from our last meeting in May.
I'll motion to approve the meeting minutes for May.
Second.
All right.
Dan is here abstaining, so that counts as a quorum, yeah?
That counts.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, cool.
We like that. So basically, I'm glad we can have this meeting like right after we had the budget meeting last night to kind of figure out where we're going when we're moving forward. So, as you know, the recreation expense line and salary line were, the expense line was eliminated and the salary line was decreased to only fund the recreation director's salary. So with that, what that means is that the revolving fund, which is where the money goes for all park registrations, park program and swim program registrations goes into, is basically going to fund the recreation programs, the staff, the pool for fiscal year 26. With that being said, we need to decide whether we're going to offer any programs, like for the 4th of July. Basically, that's the one that we need to think about now. The 4th of July program that we ran last year was right around $4,000, $4,000 to $5,000. And even if we cut back, it's going to be probably, like we were trying to estimate the last time, about $2,000, even if we cut it back. Knowing that all of the money that we have in the revolving fund will most likely be used this year because of basically for pool expenses, I'm wondering what we would like to do for the 4th of July event. I have ribbons from last year. Don't have as many as we would need, like to have that. We have all the equipment, like for the relay races and things like that. We do have those. We have that. That's not an expense. The expense we would have is basically the salaries. Even if we didn't do blow-ups, we would have the salaries of the staff to run it, which runs around $1,000 to $1,500, and then we have the DJ, which is $500. Mm-hmm. We do have I don't have a contract with him, but it was like in a good faith kind of thing that he was going to, participate in that. And then the staff, which the staff that hasn't been organized yet because the park program starts on June 30th. So like we are having our meetings next week to get the park program staff and the pool staff up and running. So we haven't discussed any of that. And then in the past also the pool has been open for free of charge for any town employee, resident to come and use the pool for 3 to 4 hours. So that was that's the added expense too. That was how it all came up to be like $5,000 last year with the salaries, the payroll, I guess you could say.
I think that given we only have, you said, about $9,000, right, in the revolving.
Yes. So before we put money into the account, with the new registrations that came in for this year, there's about $34,000 in the revolving fund. So basically, $25,000 that we were not granted from the general fund for fiscal year 26 is going to come out of that. So we don't have a lot of money to play with I have no idea what's going to happen to the pool. And the expense of the pool, the extra expense of the pool in terms of chemicals and things like that. We have already paid for the chemicals for the majority of this year, but we have not paid for the opening of the pool yet.
Yeah.
And then we also incur, because some of that expense money was paid for the electricity. So now we have that to incur from the revolving fund.
So maybe something just financially responsible would be to, it stinks, but like if we didn't hold the 4th of July event, because even so $2,000 out of the 9,000 is a lot. But then like at the end of June, July, if we had a meeting and like saw where the pool is and like if we are going to have to spend any of that, think about an August event that we can do instead, like something supplemental once we have a handle on.
Yeah, like we did have run in the past. We run the movie nights.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Are there any vendors like any of the food trucks not food trucks, but the sweet?
So Sweet Standards. Swedish Shaved Ice was coming, and the Boy Scouts were coming also. Okay. They haven't bought any. Like the Boy Scouts, I know haven't bought any supplies or anything like that. But they. If we did have an event, I'm sure they'd be able to come at another time.
I think this year where it's the 150th and there's running a lot of different functions, that I just got an email, a message on Facebook about they're delaying the fireworks.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
so theoretically, right, they're still having Whitman Day this Saturday, right, in the park?
Yeah.
Right? So maybe set up a table looking for donations or something for for recreation or something, but or sign up for the pool. You want to do that, may get some people to sign up for the pool, but where they're having a lot of events, skipping the 4th of July one.
Yeah, I agree.
Wouldn't be that bad, wouldn't.
What do you think, Ryan?
I was kind of set on it before when just looking at the money situation. I just don't know if there's a possibility of running just a bare bones, like have the vendors show up because we're not paying them. Canceling. I just don't know logistically if we could run the event with based on volunteers and not staff salaries. Like I could volunteer my time. I could even bring like a PA system to play music. I mean, I'm not a professional DJ, but I could have a microphone. I have the availability of like speakers and stuff. And I don't know if we could just like try and see if we could find a couple of volunteers to run the bike parade and a relay race, or I don't know if that's feasible or not. Because that is the big expenses, the salaries. I mean, we've already decided like the pool thing's not going to happen, and the bouncy houses. But at the same time, I don't want to say this and then I'm not a great organizer. I don't want to say this and then leave it to you or anybody else to like organize a bunch of volunteers to get this done. So, and I think the town will understand. I mean, people, like the event and love to go for the little parade and everything and dress up their bikes and all that. But it's just our funding was pretty much zeroed out, so I don't know. It's just it's not a lot of time to really plan it either.
I think that's the biggest thing is that we have about 3 weeks until it.
Yeah.
And so while we could, I also don't want to. I mean, I know anything is lovely, but I also don't want to scrape together an event that's like not.
Yeah, and then
Great.
people show up expecting what they've seen in the past. With,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, a bunch of bouncy houses and
Which
a
is so
good
we've been so
PJ.
fortunate to be able to do that. you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's, yeah. I don't. I think it's probably safest and more realistic just to cancel it altogether, and that way we can get the word out to people so they're not expecting it to happen. So I'll make that motion to, unfortunately, with regret, cancel the 4th of July event this year.
Seconded. Okay, cool. And then Dan abstains. Well, yeah, and then with the understanding that we'll meet at the end of July.
Right, and maybe
And,
we
like,
can
think of something else
coordinate
fun.
something
Yeah.
because I know the 150th is going to be like at August
Yeah, I have it.
16th, I think, that weekend.
Let's see, August. Yeah, August
Yeah, the
16th.
16th. They changed
Yeah.
it to the 16th.
That's a Saturday, yeah.
The park program ends the week before that. The pool will still be open.
Okay.
Is that program for that night is just at Memorial Field?
I assume it's the music and the fireworks.
Is
what
at
they had planned
Memorial
before,
Field.
huh?
Is at Memorial Field.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is that where it's going to be? Not in the park?
No, they said Memorial Field.
Yeah, they did say
There's
Memorial
no
Field, but
stage
like
or
if
anything
we
set up there right now, but
That's where the ball field is, right next to the police station.
Mhm.
And then they fire the fireworks from the water.
from the pond.
yeah. This is like what they used to do when the carnival was there.
Yeah. True, yeah.
I did write in the notes as well that you'll reach out to the DJ and just let him know.
Yeah.
And Sweeties, Shaved Ice.
Yes.
Okay.
And the
Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts.
The Boy Scouts don't make any money off of this, right? Do they?
No,
charge
They
for the
do. I mean,
merchandise?
they buy the supplies and then they, obviously, I think they. I'm not sure how much they actually. make,
Whatever.
but I
Yeah,
never
they may
really
buy and
asked
sell
them.
hot dogs and stuff, but I think the main thing is for them is to try and get people to
Like
join.
recruit, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's such a bummer.
What if would the 150th committee be upset if, in fact, you put like a table up or something in any of their functions, like even the fireworks? If you set up a table for next year,
Yeah.
you know,
They might be. Just because I feel like it's Whitman Day is more of a like
Yeah.
present your organization,
Whitman
whereas
Day
the
we
150th has like a full agenda.
yeah.
For
Well,
you,
Whitman
you
Day,
know.
I mean, this Saturday. I mean, would they be upset if you set up? It's going to be in the park, right? Whitman
It
Day,
is at the park. Yes.
right, all around the pond. If you just set up a table.
Yeah, we had a table there last year. You manned it for a little while, just passed. But we were just passing out flyers. We weren't really. We didn't have the ability to. It was more of a get the word out.
Because of the
Kind of things
computer
we-
system that we
Right. We don't really have the ability to do all of that,
Yeah, but
like
when
purchasing of
Yeah.
things. At
But I still think when, excuse me, when they had the tree lighting for Dolphin
right,
Scholars,
that's dollars.
they had a bucket there.
separate though.
and people
Yeah.
would just throw a couple of bucks in there.
Yeah, we do
Right.
that at like the Easter event, and so we
Yeah.
Do yep.
normally don't get much more than like
$100.
Yeah.
But
We don't.
But I think you're gonna.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be a lot more people on Whitman days coming.
Yeah.
You know, is Saturday supposed to be a good day?
So, but I thought that Whitman Day was just like to get the word out for businesses and like a kind of a meet and greet. I wasn't under the impression that it was a fundraising type of thing.
I don't know.
Yes or no? I don't know.
No, I think it's historically like a free event.
Yeah.
But well, yeah, and then there's some businesses like they sell like the cookies and everything. But okay, so because of the reduced budget from town meeting, we won't hold the 4th of July event, but we'll meet in August. I mean, end of July to talk about an August event.
Yeah.
And we'll reach out to the people that were involved and just let them know.
Yeah.
And then maybe just post on social media.
Yeah, I can post on Facebook.
It's been canceled.
You know, due to the funding.
Yeah.
Or the lack of funding.
Lack of funding. Were there any other like pool or park updates?
Nope. Steady flow of registrations coming in now that
Great.
families are like, uh-oh, what do I do with my kids? So I have increased, that's increased, which is wonderful. We were able to post it on the Conley school page, the Duval school page, the Indian Head school page. Jeff was kind enough to be able to send it out via school status to the schools, to the elementary schools. So I was thrilled about that. Much appreciated. The bathhouse has been opened up, ready for Whitman Day, for the facilities to use. The pool is in the process of being cleaned and with the chemicals
DPW
in,
does
so
that,
it'll be
right?
nice and blue. No, T&D Pool Company does.
Okay.
So they've been working on that. The amazing people at the DPW and the water department do all the work to put the bathhouse together, and then they turn the water on and help T&D Pool Company get things going. So we're very fortunate that that's rolling. That the pool can be open this summer.
Are swim lessons and swim team running?
So swim team has 4 members. So thank you for reminding me of that. That is
Yeah.
also on my agenda with the pool. I really can't. We can't really run it to break even on the staff that it would run without 10 to hopefully 15 members. So there's only 4 signed up officially. So you're right. We need to decide whether we're going to cancel that program.
When the members sign up, are they notified that we need to hit a certain threshold?
It was there in the registration that I needed to have 10, at least 10 people sign up for it.
I didn't know if you could put the call out to the people that have already signed up. Say we're low numbers. You want to be on the swim team? Can you convince any of your friends also to join the swim team? Or?
Yep, I can do that.
Yeah.
But if we don't hit 10 by in a week or so, because it's going to start on the 30th,
Yeah.
we would have to say.
Yeah. That seems
To
doubtful.
cancel.
So.
What does the swim team do?
They
Is it-
race.
So
Happy
they
race. I know,
we,
right,
there's
yeah.
there's a couple other rec programs in the area that have a swim team, like a summer swim team,
You just enter
like
it.
at Cranberry Cove in the past, and they come to us and we just have a swim meet. But the kids come and they practice in the morning for 45 minutes before swim lessons. So that's my other challenge too, is that right now I have 1 water safety instructor. 2 are potentially going to become water safety instructors. We run the Red Cross swim program, and so all of our things are sponsored by the Red Cross. Not sponsored by, but that's the programs that we use are the Red Cross programs. So the people who lifeguard are trained by the Red Cross. The people who teach swimming lessons are trained by the Red Cross. If I don't have 2 water safety instructors by June 30th, I can't run swim lessons either. So that is my next challenge. The 2 people who are, they have signed up for the class, the water safety instructor class, but the water safety instructor class doesn't have enough registrations yet. So I'm in touch with the organizer, with the teacher who teaches the class, and she's trying to get more, but we're going to have to, at some point, we're going to have to say, yes, the class can happen, or no, the class can't happen.
Where do they have the class? Diwali?
So they have the class here in the
Okay.
Whitman Town Pool, and they have it at Cranberry Cove. So last year they split. They had some at Cranberry Cove in Hanson, Some days they were there because that's the open water part, and then they had it here too. So they switched
Is
it.
it charge for that?
Yes, they charge for it, and the kids sign up for the program, and we pay
pays
the
the
instructor.
fee?
We pay the instructor.
How much money is it for the people who do take the class?
I honestly don't know because that was set up through the Red Cross.
No worries. I was just wondering if it was worth it for us to like pay the it's probably not, but like to pay the difference.
So that's in the past
You know,
we have.
yeah.
Like they paid the difference. Like they paid the people who took the class paid for the registration and the like the material fee.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had agreed to pay the instructor. So she she billed us and we paid for that, but the staff who took the class paid for their certification and paid for the materials.
I mean, if we don't get enough people, is it worth it to pay for like the number of participants that they're missing? Do you know what I mean? So like if they need 10 people to take the class and 5 sign up, is it worth it for us to pay for 5 slots for the money that we would get from swim lessons, or no? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I'd have to run those numbers.
Okay. I was just
Off
curious.
the top of my head, that's a good question. But I think there have to be like actual people signed up for the
Gotcha.
class. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you
It's
can
not just
fill
like
the
a
registration.
One day class.
It's actually
It's
a
awesome.
4-day class.
That's really fun.
It's like it's.
Yeah.
You guys want to? You guys want to do it? Who wants to be a water
like
safety
to
instructor?
swim.
It's so much fun. I loved being a water safety instructor. I loved it. It was great.
Have you contacted the high schools? Yeah.
Yes, I did reach out to the swim team coach, and I didn't get any information from her. She never shared any. She never got me any people, but I do have enough lifeguards, which I'm thrilled about.
That is great.
So we're gonna have to like. I don't know. I have a phone call into Carrie, who's the instructor. So she seems to think that we can do it. So I'm hopeful that she'll come back with some good information. But and I don't want to cancel them. We do have probably about like when I last checked, which was Tuesday, there was about like 5 or 6 kids in each session, and there's 3 sessions. So there wasn't a lot of kids, but once kids like realize we have them, even though we publicize it, then more kids sign up.
Mm-hmm.
So which is the same thing as the park program, kind of thing. So we end up, probably with 10 to 12 kids each session, which works out perfectly because we have 3 instructors and then they have a small group with them. So they don't have any more than like 5 or 6 kids.
How many instructors do you need?
So we run 3 sessions, 3 different levels at each time slot. So I need 3 instructors.
Your level, you mean what level age of the kids?
Yeah, so like it's a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4.
Right, and that is
So
their
we
age.
run. It's their ability. It's their swimming ability.
Oh, okay.
So you could be a level 1 and be 10 years old, like
That's the
just
beginning?
learning how to swim. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you could be a level 4 and be 7 years old
Sounds like
because
my
you're
wife.
so.
From Hingham, she never knew how to swim.
Really?
From Hingham, oh my goodness! right at the
there.
water's right there. Yeah.
Oh, we're in New Hampshire on a small swim swimming because I don't know how to swim. Because I used to be instructor for Newton.
Oh, nice.
A lifeguard.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's a great. That's how I did everything I needed to do, like through high school and college. Like that was the best. And even afterwards, I was the instructor, the recreation director for the YWCA's, a couple of them. So I was like, yeah. But it's a great way to go. So I'm not sure. I have to wait and see if they can take the class. If they take the class, then it'll be fine. But that's not. I'm not going to know that until like another week or so.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah. So that's really it for business?
Yeah, that's it for business.
Yeah. The only thing I wanted to bring up was like how we go about, and Dan, you might know a little bit about this, but how. If this is the way that funding for our department is going to be going, because I know there's talk of overrides next year, and obviously it didn't pass this year. How do we go about forming friends of the pool? I know
Right.
there's friends of the park.
Right.
I think that's kind of what I feel a little bit powerless now as a member of the commission, not to be able to help because there's no money.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would be the next kind of obvious thing, is trying to go about forming these citizen led kind of
Yeah.
fundraising.
Yeah, it's like
And then how those work. I mean, somebody dropped off all that stuff that used to be the friends of the pool. That from
And
what did you say, the early 90s?
I was sitting with her at the town meeting last night. I
Who
met
was
her.
it?
She brought it back.
It's who's the woman who sits in the balcony that asked a lot of questions on articles. I think it was her.
Cindy Landeville.
Is that it? Yeah.
So she dropped it off,
Right.
and then I guess she had a conversation with Mary Beth about
Is
it
this
all.
the checkbook?
That's the book. Yeah.
Just
So
one?
I shared it.
Let's go.
Tonight. I just talked to Mary Beth about it, and she said yes,
Well-
because of you, they're looking into a lot of that. Different
Well, yeah. Well, friends of, because I went on
Mhm.
Mass Money, right? And I found Whitman, and I talked to Kathy, and she said a lot of them are $5 or $10, stuff like that. But one of them, it was money owed to the town for a project that all those houses down at Pine Street, all that area up there, and it's like $2,700. My son, when I went on it and saw my ex went when she
Yeah,
passed,
you were telling
the
us
town,
that.
it ended up being $165,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did wild.
So
So we were looking at that. I looked at it with Mary Beth, and there's
oh yeah, and it
so
made,
there was a group. I mean, there was a Friends of the Pool, and
like
when
Friends
she
of the Park.
explained-
Yeah.
we
Well,
had.
this is Friends of the Pool. So she did say that they did a lot of fundraising. It's Friends of the Whitman Pool. They did a lot of fundraising, and that's how they were able to support
Yeah.
the pool,
Right,
to keep
fine,
the pool
right.
open. It
That's-
paid for the chemicals.
Yeah. So if we
basically.
could
But it
find a
can't
way to
be
start something up
like
like
as the
that.
recreation director. I'm not able to do
Yeah.
that, but like there are citizens groups that
Yeah.
have done that in the past. This is in the early 90s.
Yeah, so I think that figuring out how to set that up, and then being on the commission, if that hinders even us from doing anything, I don't know. But just trying to figure out how to properly do that so that we can,
Who would know that? It would be the clerk's office, Mike, because he does.
Mike,
all,
yeah, because he does
all
all
the
scholar.
scholars.
Yeah.
He knows all the ins and outs. Guys, he's
So
smart. John.
yeah, maybe I'll try to set up a meeting with him just to see what we can do as far as community, like a community grassroots.
Yeah, and fundraisers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and if I think we could at least help out with like, chemicals and opening and maybe salaries. I'm just looking forward to next year at this point, and trying to see if we can take that bulk of the pool expense away. Maybe it could help, just by holding a few fundraisers. So I'll look into it. I'm not a very good organizer, but my mother is. She's running a golf tournament for the Braintree Rotary tomorrow. She does stuff like that all the time. She runs medical
Yeah.
missions, and so I can kind of lean on her for some help and support with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
She used to be on the Friends of the Park too, so she
was
might
it?
even know. My mom, Joanne Tully, she's She's heavily involved in Braintree stuff because that's where
I was
she
on Friends at the Park for the longest time.
Yeah, she was on with June and
Yeah.
Is that still work going?
Not really. I mean, we've done as much as you can get done.
yeah, she was on when they did the pond.
Yeah.
That was when around the time she was on.
On the pond, yeah. Because, I mean, you know, we sold the benches, you know, and stuff like that, and different things. But we've done as much as we can. I don't even know if June's still doing it or whatever. We haven't had a meeting, you know, for a long time because the DPW takes care of the park now,
They do.
which they always did. But it's comes under the regulations of the state because it's a
Right. So
historical
there was
park.
that was a challenge about in terms of like being able to put signs up. Like if we did get business sponsors to put signage up that they sponsor the pool,
yeah.
that kind of thing, to be able to put signs up in some way to say blank company, you know,
Right, and other-
is a
right,
pool
like they-
supporter, like
yeah.
that kind of thing, because that was an issue.
Right, because
We
that's
had
why
some-
the baseball team doesn't have it in the park. The signs up.
Right.
If you go to Hanson,
Yes,
right,
they have them
sign-
everywhere.
Signs all over
Right.
the place. Sponsors.
So that's why I was like, I don't think that is a possibility.
Right.
Because
no,
Bruce
I
was
agree, yeah.
wasn't very knowledgeable about that, like what can be done and what
Yeah,
can't
in
be
the
done.
park, right.
Right.
Um,
But if I don't know if like those signs that stick in the ground, if you could put those in there and just have them for the season saying like that wouldn't be so invasive. I
Yeah,
guess.
I
But I
guess-
would have to ask if that was going to be something that
yeah. You can ask.
we
You
could
can ask.
do. But like that's the thing. Like I can't be involved in that. 'Cause
Okay.
I think that right. I think if you ask Richie Rosen about this Saturday, you know, just set up a bucket saying, you know,
I don't think
friends
we
of the
could do that,
pool
though.
need, you know, your
well,
assistance.
there's no friends of the pool yet.
Huh?
There is no friends of the pool.
yeah, it
No,
might be a
I know.
little close to that event to make that ask, but maybe for the parade or for the rescheduling
Yeah,
for August.
fireworks and stuff.
So I can bring it up.
Yeah, and reaching out like you had advised to the clerk's office and just
Because
talking
like
to them.
anybody, you ever go to the Abington concerts? They have
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
and they have a couple of women walk up and down with just a
Is
basket,
it the Lions Club that runs those? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, with baskets. Well, and people just throw dollar bills in there,
Yeah.
right? And they have a bucket under going out. You know, people may throw it in there just to collect money, and they put it towards funding for entertainment.
Mhm.
You know? Plus, they get money from the state because it's
Nowadays, you put the little QR code on your bucket too, so people don't have cash.
I don't know. That's above my pay.
They can Venmo you, but
Above my pay grade. I
yeah.
don't know about that.
So yeah, I'll try and set up a time to talk to Michael about the possibility of forming like a Friends of the Pool or reforming
yeah.
apparently because there used to be one, and see what I can do about that, and then the only other thing I wanted to talk about is trying to I don't know if you're aware, but the last meeting, Joe, our other member, resigned the day after that meeting.
Yeah.
The select board. Did you accept his resignation this past week?
Nothing, but we're going to, our next meeting will say that we need members. No one's,
Yeah, and on that note, if I feel out of my depths as the chair of this commission, like it's kind of just not something I'm very good at as far as like understanding budgeting and stuff like that. So if there's anybody that you have in mind or anybody really,
I've been asking people if they want to
yeah, anybody who has like an understanding of budgeting and stuff like that could
Yeah.
be very helpful. So to maybe even come in and possibly be chair just to help us out.
Or just be a member. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, just
Too.
we would take anybody. We'll take
Right.
anybody. We have room for multiple people. So yeah.
and you might want to
We
reach
do.
out.
We'll have 3 open seats.
Yeah.
now.
3 open.
As of June 30th, we'll have 3 open seats.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our meeting is, looks like we're gonna have it, we just got a message for some reason they want to prolong it. We were gonna have it on the 17th of June, but now they want to move it to the 24th for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, that's
Of June?
Huh?
June 24th?
that's
Yeah.
news to me. Yeah. Okay.
Would we want our next meeting to be July 24th? Next Thursday? Or that Thursday? Are we
fine.
around
Yep.
anything?
July 24th. I should be around. The Whitman summer concerts are starting up, but we'll have people at that. That used to be I would have to go film those, but
Gotcha.
I'll be fine.
I mean,
So-
I can do any day in the summer. So if we want, we don't have to do a Thursday.
What's pencil in July 24th?
Okay. At 6 p.m.
Yeah.
At 6 o'clock.
Does that work for you, Kathleen? Or
Yeah, it's fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else? Open discussion. We talked about future funding. Looking for new members. Anything else we want to add in?
I don't know. We're probably going to need to get another person to be on the
Yeah, 6
community
o'clock.
preservation.
At the next meeting.
We'll have to discuss that. No one's reached out to the recreation department yet, but once that gets back up and running, I think there has to be a member.
yeah,
Yeah,
I had
committee.
kind of volunteered to do that, so I don't mind doing that.
Are you going to
The
those meetings anyway?
the CPC thing,
Or no?
this kind of the community preservation. I know you were doing
Yeah.
open space, but
Oh no, because Angela was on it and she's
Yeah.
not anymore. So I just
alright.
with the size of our
Okay,
commission at the time, I just assumed I would I'd volunteer to do that.
because I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of that
Yeah,
as to what, because I think that recreation could be able to ask for something, go through the process of working with the DPW to take care of the memorial, like to do things for the memorial fields,
Mhm.
like those kinds of things to help the youth sports programs.
Mhm.
So that was, but I don't logistically. I don't know if that falls in the realm of it. So we'd have to
Yeah,
do some.
maybe something for next meeting would be to think about, like going into the fall, what we might be missing or might want to add, so that we can start applying for that stuff. That would be a good to-do list.
When the fields, like the baseball fields, and in the park and in the other field by the police station, when those are scheduled for teams, right? Who do they pay?
The town teams, any youth league run by Whitman Hanson, so there's Whitman football, Whitman Hanson youth soccer, Whitman Hanson lacrosse,
Yeah.
Whitman Hanson softball. Am I missing anybody?
just Little League.
But all the
Whitman
Whitman Hanson,
League. So none of them pay any fees to the town of Whitman for renting for field usage. That has been just the town
okay.
generously, letting them use the field. So any AAU teams or private teams do rent the fields.
And where does that money go?
That money goes into the field revolving fund.
Which revolving?
The field revolving fund.
Oh, so you don't see any of it.
No, we see it, and then that's what pays for the porta potties that are out there.
Hmm.
And at one point there was a lot of AAU baseball teams renting the fields, especially over at Whitman Middle School, and we had that money helped pay for I don't know the name of the machine that the DPW got.
Irrigation.
It was
it's
a-
like
Oh,
an
yeah.
irrigator.
We
not
helped
irrigator,
we helped them
aerator.
support that. So but that's we've been able to do things like that with that money.
For a
But this
function,
fund, there's no funds in that, in that right now.
is there any functions that you can do that doesn't cost anything? Like a father-son fishing outing in Colebrook?
We can. I think that's probably what we'll discuss at the next meeting. Is knowing what we go into August with, what's something fun and affordable and like, you know, worthwhile, especially since we're canceling on the 4th of July.
I mean, the movie night that we did indoors was very low budget.
Yeah, that was basically popcorn.
Yeah,
And
because the
water
projector's
juice
already in
boxes kind
there.
of thing.
Because we did like a winter movie night inside with the new projecting.
What do you use for movies? Like discs, CDs?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. We just
You want the trilogy? Godfather.
yeah. Well, we'll play The Godfather for the kids. They'll love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we got like the new release movies that came out. Like we did Dory, and we did Madagascar once.
Yeah.
We did a couple of those fun kid friendly
Yeah, Minions movie.
PG movies. Yeah, Minions. Yep.
But I mean, if you can come up with functions that doesn't cost anything other than people being there, like a fishing outing, father-son fishing outing, whatever. I mean, they bring their own fishing rods, and I used to do that with my kids. I used to go fishing down Plymouth, all the different ponds. But I mean, it wasn't a function; it was just something that we did on Saturdays and Sundays, right?
Yeah, that's a really fun idea.
And we have the Colebrook. You can open up, DPW can open up the gate, and you can have all the people, just along the water and just fishing. Catch and release, you can call it. Just for fun time.
They
But
have one in Hanson.
come up with something like that, you know what I mean?
I don't know what group runs it, but
Huh?
it's a conservation commission that ran a fishing derby like thing at in
Plymouth
Hanson.
does, I'm not Plymouth, doesn't Hanson do something like
That's
that?
what you
That's
would
what
call
she
it,
was
right?
talking
The fishing
about.
derby.
It's just a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
good
no,
one.
I like that. I want to do
Yeah.
stuff
Well-
like that.
brainstorm for the July meeting and kind of come up with it. And I'll try and meet with Michael before then, so I can report what he thinks about starting up like a citizens thing like that. And then I'm also going to try and see if Jason DeRosa from the Open Space Planning Committee is going to want to come to our next
Oh, that's
meeting.
right. Yes.
Oh, that'd be
yes. That would be great.
Just kind of give a report on what he has filled out for the plan, because he has a few chapters of it already done, and there's some events he'll be at Whitman Day, and there's some events he has planned to try and do like community outreach to see what people want in recreation spaces, and there's a lot of talk of a dog park and pickleball and stuff like that. So
Cool. Both of those would be great.
yeah.
Yeah.
If Whitman Hanson residents, they don't pay to use the pool.
They do pay to use a pool.
Huh?
They do pay to use
Oh,
the
they
pool.
used to pay.
Yeah.
What don't they
It's
pay
a
for, you said?
Oh, that was
The
July 4th.
fields.
Oh, July 4th.
The 4th
Alright.
of July, we just put a bucket out for
Oh, okay.
donations, but it wasn't like a
As I say,
you
have
buy
a
a ticket or anything.
basketball tournament or something in the park. Kids playing basketball,
They did something like that a while ago.
I don't know what that
A
was. A shootout, you can call it. Well, it's not such a good well, you know what I mean? Basketball,
For sure.
yeah. You never know. I mean, kids,
Yeah, I think it's a good
come up
idea.
with a small trophy or something. $10 trophy.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, I think something like that would be really fun.
I mean, there's always kids shooting in there, shooting baskets, so. But I mean, why not?
All right. Well, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Right. Thank you all so much.
And I apologize for being late.
Oh, don't worry.
That's fine.
Nice